Okay, we are live. Yes, wonderful. I decided this morning that I would poke the hornet's nest again. I know how this works. I really shouldn't do this because it just gets ugly all the time. But here we are. I just can't help it because, as an intellectual, someone who likes to read books and stuff, I find some of these debates that pop up in the public sphere, I find them interesting, um, and annoying. So I'm Norwegian, and I live here in Norway. Norway is a secular country. It was not when I was a child, when I grew up, but that's a different story. And I think it's a good thing. It's a secular country. You can be an atheist or a Christian or whatever, and you will be society will treat you the same. That's a good thing. But recently, these youth politicians, young people with limited life experience, have been debating or arguing, I should say, in social media and with articles they write for old media like mainstream media about Christian values and how we need to protect Christian values and how we need to how everything became so much better with Christian values, and how when Christianity was introduced, let's put it that way, to people here in Norway, everything got much better because before that we were just cruel people and barbarians and all of that. So that old story there, which is of course it's ridiculous. And I one thing is, I mean, have the school system failed these people? It's normally not the case in Norway, but that is also a different story. Um, I just want to say hello to everyone here, and yes, I suspect that this is one of those live streams that have YouTube will limit the reach of, for some reason. I don't know why it happens sometimes, but I'll keep going. Yeah, the chat is for subscribers only. That's a good way to keep the trolls out. So I think that it needs to be said that obviously, and like priests and people have actually studied Christianity to become priests. I just call them priests. They will agree on this. Okay, if you take the Bible in a literal sense, it would be very cruel. It's horrible. It's just horrible. And so what most people call Christian values are really humanist values. Those values can be found outside of the reach of Christianity, and they were present before the introduction of Christianity and before the stories of the Old Testament. They were present. Now, for instance, I can't remember the date now, but we're talking a few 10,000 years ago. Neanderthals, and this was the first archaeological evidence of empathy. There was a Neanderthal, the remains of a Neanderthal was found, and this person was blind he was missing one arm and quite old when he died. So he lived with those injuries for years. And that means that the people around him cared for him. They made sure that he got food, that he uh, were kept warm, and so on. So we know that empathy and caring for other people did not, obviously not, come with Christianity. Okay, so this is, I mean, it's so easy to point at these facts, and when that's why I find it ridiculous when these people, like this morning, this one guy from the what do they call, the Kristelig Folkeparti, the Christian People's Party in Norway. Um, he wrote something along the lines of, uh, they all write the same thing. It's that with Christianity we became more humane, and we started caring for each other. And before Christianity, we did not have a concept of the value of people, or like the value of an individual, and so on and so on. And I don't think these people should get away with it, because it's not true. And now, if you just look at Norway, it's quite obvious that many things that concerned normal people got much worse with the introduction of Christianity, because Christianity back then was used as a political tool to concentrate power under the king, and to take power away from the local communities. And this is something that no no historian who's an actual historian will argue against that, because this is something that we know. It's a well-established fact. It's been proven by cross-reference between archaeology and the sagas and historical or other historical texts. So these people should not get away with it, because they are lying. Now, I don't know if they know that they are lying, but anyway, unluckily that they will not get away with it. But a lot of people, they do listen to these naive young people who are saying these ridiculous things. And I want to say also that this has nothing to do with what Christianity is today, because I do find that, at least in my area here in Northern Europe, normally Christianity among most people is just a collection of humanist values, which are good, you know. And if people want to call that Christianity, I have no problem with that. I think Christianity can be whatever you want it to, but I think it should be, Christianity should be something positive, something that is about empathy and caring for your fellow man or woman. Um, and that seems to be the case with most Christians. But it's also easy to see how Christianity is used uh, in a more negative way. We can just look to the Christian nationalists in the USA now, and uh, it's horrific what's happening there, obviously. Um, and I saw, well, these days you never know what is AI and what is real, but I'll assume that this one is actually real. You had a woman uh, in the government under Trump somewhere. I can't remember her name, or I do these live streams completely unprepared, but she said climate change is a scam because the climate is controlled by the sun and God controls the sun. Uh, so so it's like, when you have people like that, then I mean, what it's 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 insane, you know. So yeah, um, let's see here. Yeah, so this debate is kind of strange because it's something that I haven't really seen in. It's I think they are inspired by the resurgence of conservative Christianity that we are seeing in the USA. And it seems like all of these, all of these libertarian and conservative influencers on social media, they all seem to find Jesus. No, they're not talking about Jesus so much, because I don't think I don't think they like Jesus, but they're talking about God, how I found God again, or for the first time. And they part of it is catering to the audience. They understand that to make the money coming in, they need to cater to the audience, and that's why they are doing this. It's like this guy who's been on YouTube forever, which is quite amazing because he's been borderline. What's his name? Sargon of Akkad. He recently, even him, he recently came out as a Christian, and that's fine. But it seems to follow a pattern, and that is not a pattern of finding the truth. It's a pattern of catering to the audience. Come on, I mean, it's obvious. So yeah, I just think that this debate is coming here, and it's typically something that pops up for some reason during Pride Month, because I mean, these people, they seem to be obsessed with the gay thing and the trans thing, and so on. And I really don't know why, but it's like I needed to be reminded. Someone said it's Pride Month, and I okay. Last year it was very much in your face everywhere, but it's not like that this year, luckily. And why would I care? I mean, I don't get it. Why are these people so obsessed with that? It's Satan and all of that. No, it's just people. You know, people are different. People are not all the same. Um, and it's like, it's an obsession to these people, and it pops up during Pride Month typically. Um, and normal people are just looking at these and they're shaking their head, and it's like, come on, uh, just leave it. Why do you have to obsess with it? Now, as someone obsessed with his history, I find it very annoying, these lies that these people are spreading about Christianity. And they need to stop doing that. And what they are also saying, and this comes straight from the bowels of Satan himself, which is the MAGA movement in the USA. Oh, I'll lose a lot of subscribers on that one. It's that Christianity must be integrated in the schools, so and education. So basically, what they're saying is that we need to indoctrinate kids with Christianity, and I do think that that's wrong, and I do think that that's, I would like to call it evil, because it's like you are imposing something on kids that you shouldn't. You should just leave kids to be kids, and you should let your kids have the freedom to figure things out under safe guidance, of course. And it's a horrible thing. And I grew up with that fuckery. Excuse my language, but we had to sing the psalms in school, and we were told that we're all Christians. I thought I was, because I was 7 years old, and I was told that all of these things in school and all of that. So yeah, now they need to they stopped doing that, and they should not start doing it again. They really should not. So with dread, I will now look at the chat. Sundays, I absolutely agree. They need to teach our kids in the USA and everywhere. I will add reading, writing, and arithmetic. No more agendas. Yes, no more agendas. Well, I think there should be one agenda, and that's very simple. Just be kind. Stealth mode. Same here. Forced into the Christian church. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see. Green-eyed lady says, my guess is they didn't mean to imply that paganism was bad. I think they meant Christianity is much better for society than Islam. No, actually, what we see is that it's that they gang up with the Islamist people. It's very odd to watch, actually. No, they are. Why do I care so much about this? Well, because I am obsessed with the Viking Age, pre-Christian especially, Viking Age. And they target the Viking Age, these people, these little brats. It's so annoying. Can you imagine? It's so annoying. I mean, we have an exhibition coming up, and I'm so looking forward to this. It's like I'm a child looking forward to Christmas Eve. Christmas Day in other countries. We open our gifts on Christmas Eve here in Norway. But anyway, because they will, for the first time, exhibit the snake's head from that twirl at the bow of the Oseberg ship. It's never been seen by the public before. And it's like, why am I talking about that? Lost my train of thought there completely. Richard, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't really understand your comment because of the letters there. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Take this. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Oh yeah, the Orange King, the God Emperor King. There, yes. What a disappointment that has been, I must say. So, let's see. Green-eyed lady says, I misunderstand what is meant by promoting Christian values in school. It simply means teaching kindness, fairness, responsibility, and working hard to benefit your family and your community. You're a very much an important part of this community, green-eyed lady, so I will be very kind. But those are not Christian values. They really are not. You're talking about something that was here before Christianity, and remained here despite of Christianity. You will find the same in many other cultures that were never touched by Christianity. The Osberg exhibition, I don't know how long, but it will not be for a very long time. I will find out. You know what? I will, if you can forgive me, I will just have a look now. And I can probably find out now, because it's in the news. It's a big. It's obviously. It is. I need to type in Historisk Museum. It's probably. Yeah, there it is. It's probably the most expensive piece of wood that you can find. Let's see if we can. Yes, okay. The exhibition will open the 21st of June, so only 9 days. And let's see if it says here how long it will be open. No, it doesn't say. I am sorry about that. But yeah, my guess is that it will be at least through July, heavily guarded. Yeah, and that's in Oslo. So yeah, now let's see here. Yeah, when it comes to Christian values, it's like, I think it's important to define, are you yeah, Audrey, Christianity started the Dark Ages. That is correct. It was a suppression of science, absolutely. When it comes to Christianity, are we talking about a modern perception of Christianity and Christian values, or are we talking about a more literal understanding of the texts that make up what we call the Bible? Big difference, obviously. So yeah, but the idea, and this is the thing, the idea that these people are talking about Christian values, and it's what you mentioned, Green-Eyed Lady, here, with all respect, but it can be proven, as I told you about that Neanderthal, first archaeological evidence of empathy among humanoids. So the idea that this was introduced with Christianity is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So what do we have here? And like kindness. Well, you can read the Havamål. You can read other, in lack of a better word, religious texts. Kindness is central. What else do we have? Fairness, being fair. Well, again, being just and fair. You will find that in pre-Christian texts all over the place. Being responsible, working hard. We have evidence all over the place that people worked hard, that they cared for other people. So And also, yes, shining knocked those values from ancient Greece. And I will say that it's not we and I make this mistake quite often, that we look at the world as Europe, or Europe is the world, but all of these values can be found in other places. Um, let's I mean, let's talk about not, Australia before the Europeans got there. They were kind to each other. They had values. They had good values. They cared for each other, and they had never heard about Christianity. So it's like all the way back from that Neanderthal, who is an archaeological proof that people were showing empathy and they cared about the other people in the tribe. They took care of them. All the way from that, all over the world, it's basically how we need to behave in order for society to work, right? Says the Viking, says someone here, Dimitri. I don't see the context there, but I get it all the time. Oh, the Vikings were cruel people. Oh, the Vikings were barbaric. And no, no, this is the movie version that you're talking about. Um, but when you say Viking, of course, you can argue that the Vikings were the people who went raiding, which is debatable. It's debatable how we should use that word. Some people would say that's simply the people who came from where I live, by Viken. Um, but the Norse was a tribal community, and they had to uh, show empathy, kindness. They had to be hardworking. They had to avoid risky behavior, and they because they needed to survive. You know, I can literally walk out in the forest here and see evidence of where they store their food. Okay, that's later than the Viking Age, but it's like they didn't start doing that with Christianity, and they stored food so that it could last through winter. Um, it is something that I shouldn't need to argue for that. It's obvious. It's obvious. Um, yeah. So uh, let's see here. Um, oh yeah, green-eyed lady. Yes, good point there. What you meant was that Trump uses the term Christian values to define those qualities. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what these people are saying, and they're what they are. And this is the whole point of what we're talking about here. What they are trying to do is to take everything that makes a society or a culture successful and good, and they're trying to say that, oh, that's because of Christian values. That's their whole thing. That's what they're trying to do, and they shouldn't get away with it. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. And it's so easy to do. Like Japan. Is Japan a Christian country? Not as far as I know. But it's a very caring culture. it's now I've never been there, but I want to go. But what I hear is that it's a very uh, they take care of each other, and it's it's a well functioning um, society culture, and it's obviously not that obviously did not come from Christianity. Um, so you know, yeah, we'll get into the riots thing a little bit, I guess, Colleen. Um, yeah, we are seeing the news here from the riots, and I think what it looks like here is that what started as protests then, of course, became riots. And that's how it very often goes in the USA and in other countries as well. And now, like the National Guard is there shooting at people with rubber bullets, but still, um, and it's a big mess. And I don't know what to say. It's the Marines. Oh, it's um, it's a big mess, and I think it's unwise what the administration in the USA, their government are doing now, or the Trump regime, what they are doing, because when they add power to strike down the protests, it will only increase the riots. That's what I think. And I've been to California, and it's kind of a big place. Those riots could pop up everywhere. Um, and and it's like I don't think this is the way to handle it. Then how do you handle it? Well, I think maybe it would help if Trump went there and sat down and had a grown up, if he can manage that conversation with that slick car salesman that runs that place. So, so it's like, I mean, we'll see what happens, but obviously that's not going to happen. There, it's going to be solved one way or the other, but with violence. Um, and this is not adding to. It's not making our view of the USA better. It's yeah. It just seems odd that in a Christian country, as they are saying that that's what it is, it's such a Christian country, the USA. It seems odd that it's so violent, that it's so chaotic, while secular countries like here in Scandinavia, it's mostly peaceful. You know, how does that work? Um, Someone writes Satan/Loki laughs and spreads his wings. That's a new one. So Loki is not Satan. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Colleen says it's escalating. Um, yeah. I California, especially Los Angeles, when I was there, as I said before here, obviously they have some problems. Um, and when I got back home from California, I thought to myself, I've never seen a place with this very toxic combination that they have over there. So they have in the culture a very liberal view of narcotics. They also have a very liberal view of guns, gun ownership, and they have a complete breakdown, a lack of public mental health care. So, and with that combination, what could go wrong? I mean, come on. It's 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 I don't have the words actually. But I'll say something here. A piece of advice to the government in the USA. It's completely for free. I won't charge millions as a consultant to share this advice. And it's this: strike down on drugs. Do not follow up with that liberalization of drugs. Increase the governmental spending on mental health care. And while I do believe that people should have the right to own guns like they do here in Norway, it should be much more controlled. This is not rocket science, but people don't want to hear that. So, yeah. um, so let's see. I when it comes to the USA, it's like in uh, constantly in the news here, and I have a lot of faith in the people in the USA because I think most people are just normal people who don't want any part of this. They don't want anything to do with that. They just want to live their lives. They're not crazy gun wielding maniacs. They don't do drugs, and they take care of themselves as with their physical and mental health. People are not idiots usually. Some are, but most people are not. So, and that's the majority. I believe the majority in any place, are usually sensible, kind people, and but they are not the ones screaming in the streets. They are not the ones being on TV. In the no. So, you know, yeah. Okay, I'll just leave it. We have so yes, we have this odd debate here in Norway. These youth politicians claiming that Norway was a horrible place before the introduction of Christianity, and Christianity made it all much better. So, yeah, that's just how it is. Now, I'm going to have to leave you now. Thank you for joining, and I'll be back soon. Okay, bye bye.